Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube series of Women Empowered. I am here today with an amazing makeup artist, someone who I love and is one of my favorites.
Oh, thank you.
And
Thanks for having me.
Yes, her name is Shoshie Gropper. And we're here in Sur Hadassah. Today we want to talk a little bit about makeup and the psychology behind it and the empowering aspects about it and things that people might see as problematic with it. And I'm really excited to talk to you.
Cool.
What immediately connected me to Shoshie was just our, I think, like philosophy behind makeup. She came to my place and did my makeup for the first time. And we started just talking about what makeup can do for women. And not only makeup, but the relationship that you can have with your clients.
Right.
And I thought it was really special that you saw it that way as well. It's not so common, especially like in the beauty industry. And so I'm just excited to dive into everything with you. Yay. So Shoshie, can you tell me a little bit, or tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and how you got into makeup and why you love it?
So first of all, thanks for having me. And I've been following Rebecca for years, and when she approached me, I was so excited. But anyway, I got into makeup totally by chance. It wasn't something I planned as being my focus or my career, or how I'd be making a living. But I was always obsessed with makeup. I always loved it. Even as a little girl, I remember stealing my mom's lipstick and lying about it. And
sounds familiar.
Yeah. And in high school, I would do my friends' makeup for fun, and when they would go out on dates, they would always come to me. And while I was doing my bachelor's degree in psychology and criminology, I got a little bored and wanted to do something creative, and decided just to take a makeup course for fun.
While you were doing your
while
degree.
I was doing my degree, it was an evening course once a week. I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do a good course. So I looked around, asked different makeup artists who I liked their style, where they studied, and I found this amazing school in Tel Aviv, Natasha Denona, and I went to school there. And I loved it. I would wait for it all week. It was like my highlight of the week. And while I liked my degree, I loved the makeup. And once I finished the course, people heard I was doing it and just started approaching me to do their makeup for their son's bar mitzvah. And a bride approached me, a very brave bride who took me straight out of my course, and it just kind of rolled.
It always takes that brave bride.
Yeah, brave bride. She
I know how that is.
I am today, so thank you. And it just kind of rolled, and I fell in love with it without actually realizing where it was going or what I was doing. I fell in love with it, but didn't actually realize that this could be still a job, a career. And I pursued other directions, and I always found myself working with women. So I worked in a center for girls with eating disorders. I went on to pursue a master's in social work, because I thought that was definitely the direction I was going to take, and ended up in the Rape Crisis Center working with women, and in Har Tzofim Hospital working with in the maternity at risk ward. So always with women, and I just love the interaction. I can relate. I get it, and that was always the interaction I was looking for. And I was always kind of doing makeup on the side, and not really thinking anything of it, just for fun or whenever the opportunity presented itself.
Did you automatically, sorry for interrupting, did you automatically see the correlation between your work with women in the social working realm
Always.
and makeup?
I always saw the connection. I always wanted to kind of bring it together, but didn't know how. I always saw myself as like, one day I'm going to take the social work and take the makeup, and I'm gonna like integrate it and be like a makeup therapist or whatever, and still haven't figured that out. But because it's a little bit more complicated than that.
I'm right with you.
I always saw the connection. Especially when I'm doing makeup, there's a certain type of interaction between two women, and one's kind of like helping the other, making her feel her best. And there's something in that interaction, and and stories come out sometimes, and it's a very, I always saw the connection.
Because it's like, I feel when people, I mean, also for boudoir, but for makeup, when someone's like sitting there and they kind of like are stripped away from normal life and their barriers that they might put up in everyday life, they're vulnerable, and they're open and they're trusting you.
They're putting themselves in your hands. They're giving the control over to you, which could be very scary also. So that's there's a certain connection. Cool. So I always saw the connection. Not everyone does, but I definitely do.
And I think we grow up thinking that in a very sad way that like other women are like the competition or the enemy, and like, I mean, I don't know if you've had the same experience, but just in elementary school and middle school and high school, it's like it was so competitive and it could become so toxic. So I think that when there's a potential for something like that, there's also potential the other way, where like if we do bring like something positive and empowering to each other, then there's no limit to the healing and the positive things that can come out of it.
I mean, women have, like, I guess they have both sides. They can be very competitive, but they can also be very complimenting of each other, and like, you look amazing. You look this, and we're always like, no, and the other one was like, yes, you do. You're great. You're beautiful. And then we like kind of take a step back, and there's always kind of that push and pull, and we can do both. But
like if we really get to like the true aspects of ourselves, and we're like, and we put away like that competition and the comparisons and all of that stuff, then we can really bring light and change each other's lives. So there is something about that interaction with two women, and one's helping the other feel good about herself. In a very like maybe superficial kind of like, I'm putting makeup on your face to help you feel, but there is something in the process of me trying to understand what's going to make her feel beautiful, what's going to make her feel good. Not just the actual makeup.
That's one aspect that's very important for me in my work, is trying to understand what will make this woman feel good about herself today. Like, what is she doing today? Is it her wedding day? Is it her grandson's wedding day?
Like, where are you
where
now?
are you? Where are you going? What's going to make you feel good? What do you need in order to feel good? And it changes.
Amazing.
From every woman. It's so different. And that's also something I've learned from working with hundreds or thousands of women. Like, everyone is so different, and makeup is so personal and individual. What will make one woman happy is what will make another woman feel so insecure, and the opposite. So
it's true. So you have to kind of like feel out each woman and be a little bit intuitive about what they need.
And sometimes you have 2 minutes to do that, but it has to be done before you start the process of actual applying the makeup. Because otherwise it's not going to work, and you're not going to do a good job.
So what do you think it is, like making a connection with them first?
You have to make some sort of connection, with brides. I have the opportunity doing that in a trial meeting, where I spend a good few minutes trying to understand who they are, what they do in their lives, if they wear makeup on a regular day, like what they want to feel like, what they want to look like. Obviously, it helps when they show me pictures and they describe themselves. But sometimes I have a minute and I have to kind of fish it out and kind of feel it out and understand. And I'm lucky enough to have that ability to do that. I don't always succeed. You know, it can't always be done. Sometimes people think they want something because they saw it in a picture, but it doesn't actually suit them.
Yeah.
But that's
emotionally,
physically, or they're not connected to that part in themselves, or they're just unaware, and then I don't succeed. And also maybe I misinterpret what they're saying.
Right.
It's not only their fault.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. But it's definitely a major part of a successful makeup outcome for the client, I feel.
It's just so incredible to me that you see makeup that way, because I don't feel like the industry as a whole is like that. And I think a lot of people have this conception of makeup that it's superficial, or it's, you know, people who put on makeup or who are really into makeup are just like vain and shallow. Right. How would you respond to something like that if someone said that about your career choice? Or
well, that's something that I actually think about a lot when I say I'm a makeup artist. I automatically fear the reaction of someone thinking, oh, she's
you could say I'm a makeup therapist,
right?
Because you really are. You have a master's, you know.
I'm a makeup therapist. I'm
a boudoir therapist.
That will definitely up my. I fear
charge double.
Right. That is definitely something that kind of. When I introduce myself and say I'm a makeup artist, and it took me years to do that, not saying I'm a social worker and not apologizing for what I do.
Right.
It took me years to say it proudly, and I still fear reactions of people thinking she's vain, she's shallow. This is, you know.
I mean, if they talk to you for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, but you know, not everyone.
Yeah.
You know, takes the time. But I know that's out there, like what people think of the industry and what people think of makeup, or people who wear a lot of makeup, or people who that's what they do, or in the fashion world or whatever. And to me, it's just makeup can be so many things. It's so many things. It could be self-expression. It could be art. It could be a form of just like a workout, like just making you feel better about yourself and confident before you walk out the door. Even if you spent 2 minutes doing your makeup every day, it's just a form of, you know, self-care, as we like to say, or just like making sure that you have what you need before you walk out the door to have the best day and to be your best and to put your best self out there.
You think people can do that without makeup?
I'm most definitely 100%.
It's just one tool.
It's a tool. It's just like, you know, like when I exercise, I feel amazing. Unfortunately, I never do. And instead, I use makeup to feel amazing. So I have that.
Yes.
But it's just another form. It's another tool in your bag. Yeah. And I feel like for some people, it could also be a mask.
I was going to ask that actually.
It could be, and for some people, it could be really something intimidating that they feel like it changes them, and they're just completely uninterested in it, and they don't want it, and they don't feel like it will empower them. They feel the opposite.
Have you ever seen someone who kind of approached it that way?
Yes.
And then changed their mind?
Yes, I have. But with people who are kind of like against makeup or feel like they don't want it, don't like it, don't need it, if you can relate to them and then like really listen to them and try to work with that,
like what their fears are,
and kind of break it down and work with them, and obviously be soft-handed with the makeup brushes.
Yes.
People can look in the mirror and be like, oh,
I still feel like me.
Yeah, I look like me. This is okay. I like this. And I've also seen people who say, I like myself as I am. Please don't hide me. And like, just don't do it. And I came to do works, but I still have to respect that because they like themselves the way they are, and they don't feel that makeup will enhance, or they don't feel like it will
give them something.
Give them.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I've met everything and every type, and people who have said to me, change my face. I don't want to look like myself today. I want to look different. I want to look like her. I want to look like this. I want to feel like that. And use your makeup to help me get to that goal.
And I think a lot of times that can sound like unhealthy, but in a way, like, we have so many different sides to ourselves, and makeup can just be a way to explore that instead of hiding who your true self is.
Right. It's a form of expression. It's like wearing a different outfit, or for some people who choose to, a different makeup look every day. It's like, today I'm feeling bold, so I'm going to put on a red lip, and I have something to say. Yeah. Or today I feel kind of like dark, and I'm going to put on a dark eye because, even without understanding it or knowing it, I feel like people,
subconsciously.
Yeah, people choose different makeup looks to express something in themselves.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
So when you heard about my boudoir photography, what did you think?
I was like, wow, this woman is so brave, because I come from a religious background, and
Israel's a pretty conservative place.
And we come from a conservative kind of environment, and I was like, interesting. I found it fascinating, and I started following it to see who are these women who choose to do this and expose themselves and put themselves out there and write their stories, and I just found it really, really fascinating. Cool. And yeah.
Did you think about, for me, the makeup and hair component is actually a big part of the process for boudoir photography. At this point, I do offer packages without hair and makeup because, like you said, there are women who don't connect to it or don't want it or want to do it themselves.
I was going to ask you, actually, what is the percentage of women who choose to come to you without makeup and hair as a choice, not because it's a little bit more expensive maybe, or just as a choice to bear themselves as they are naturally. I don't know, what do you does that happen?
It does, very rarely. I'd say 5% of my clients, maybe 10, but probably 5. And also I think it's the way that I present the makeup, and I really try to explain to my clients that you don't have to do anything crazy. This isn't about dark smoky eyes and red lips. That could be fun also for some people, like we mentioned. But that all my makeup artists are going to honor who you are, and that it is helpful in the emotional process of getting you to where you need to be.
That's really helpful that you are so aware of that. And help your clients realize that that's the goal.
Yes. Because I think with boudoir photography, it is really a lot of the times really stripping down to
literally
this literally stripping down to this raw, vulnerable version of who you are. But I personally don't see makeup as a mask or something that needs to hide who you are. I think it's just something that can enhance your features, help you feel good. I choose makeup artists like you who are aware of the emotional aspect behind it, and are sensitive, and are going to give my clients just another positive experience in the boudoir process. Because I think it's so weird when someone just comes to my studio and they're like, all right, let's just get naked, versus
going through some sort of mental,
it's not weird for me, but it could be weird for them, to kind of just have that process of let's sit down, let's have coffee, let's have girl talk, tell us about yourself, and
it's very interesting that you're saying that, because I feel for women in general, and I find that I automatically think of like a bride on her wedding day. It's not like she throws on her dress and runs to the chuppah. Like boys always come in and say, "Oh, I can't believe what you have to do, 3 hours of hair and 2 hours of makeup." And I'm like, they don't understand that it's literally part of our mental preparation for the day. The physical aspects of that day are just as important as the emotional and spiritual parts of that day.
Yeah.
As women, we have a focus, and the Torah mentions it, and it's written, like, you know, the men are supposed to provide their women with clothing and jewelry because it's a part of who we are. For most women, not for everyone, but it's a part of who we are, and the physical preparation is so important in anticipation for a big moment. So that could be your wedding day, and a boudoir session is also, it's a big moment where you're going to expose yourself, and you're going through this emotional process, and sitting there and getting your makeup done and preparing yourself physically for the experience is definitely an integral part of what you're going to do. And I really believe in that. We need that. We can't just jump into things. We need that, like that grounded, something like physical to like help us go through the motions. And
that's so beautiful. I'm totally blown away by that concept. I mean, that's what we're talking about, but also like in terms of wedding photography, and because I also do wedding photography, but to really choose the vendors and the people you want to be surrounded by, because it is such a spiritual and emotional moment.
Oh, it's written in, I give out a sheet to brides like before the wedding day, and one of the lines is, choose the people who surround you carefully, like people who make you feel good. And unfortunately that doesn't always happen, but it's so important that the what brings you to the chuppah, or what brings you to the moment, the energy,
You
the
sound
vibe.
so hippy-dippy.
Oh, yeah.
The energy and the vibe.
No, but really.
No, but it's true.
But it's so true. It's so true.
Yes.
And that's also what keeps my work so interesting, to see different interactions and see,
so cool.
the process of becoming a bride, or becoming that person who's about to go through that experience, and being a part of that is such a blessing. And I love it. And the social work does come in handy at times.
Yes, I'm sure all the time.
And definitely in a boudoir experience where people are going to put themselves out there and expose themselves, and feel like maybe sometimes they need to be wrapped, and comforted, and
be held and taken care of,
to be cared for.
Yeah.
In a very gentle and sensitive way, and to help them,
blossom.
Help them blossom and really feel their best. Really feel their best, so they can go through this experience in a very positive way. Because if something's off and they don't feel like themselves, I believe it will be very hard to be in the moment and be connecting to that experience.
Right. I feel like the actual experience is just as important, if not more, than the final result.
Right.
And I think that's the point that we're trying to get at here. So a few months ago, you did a boudoir session with me, which was so cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of important for like the people that I work with to also have that experience, so that they can.
Well, really, I did it, for that reason.
Yeah. Only that reason. Only that reason. But did you feel like the makeup and hair part was like an important part for you? Was that the first time that you got it done in a while?
It was the first time I got it done, I think, since my sister's wedding, which was about 2 years ago. Or maybe more. And first of all, it's very important for a makeup artist once in a while to sit in the makeup chair and have that feeling of giving control over to someone else, which is a terrifying experience.
As a creative person.
Yeah, and even though the people I chose are very close to me and very good friends of mine, and I trust them completely, and we are colleagues in every sense of the way, like going through that experience of giving the control over to someone else to do something on you is very interesting. And
then you kind of know how your clients
and then
feel.
I'm like, this is how it feels to tell someone something and see them doing something, and you're thinking, what is she doing? Oh, I hope she's listening to me. I hope that the result will be what I hope it is, and that's all going through your head while you're sitting in the chair. And I was like, I need to do this more. I need to get my makeup done more often, because
I just remember like how you felt afterwards, like, and you looked at yourself in the mirror for the first time, and you're like, holy crap, like it was the best reveal.
First of all, I was really looking forward to that part, because first of all, it's a pampering experience.
Yes.
And just giving yourself over and being pampered, and I love the feel of it, and it's just really, really fun and relaxing. And also the experience of like having someone else do it, and having someone else take control and making decisions for you. And
you were really easygoing. You were just like, whatever you think.
Yeah, and like I know the result is going to be good. Also, because thank God I'm good with myself, and I know that like it's going to be good. So that's also a big part of it. But I loved it, and I just, it's so pampering and relaxing, and it was really great. And that's a really important thing in a boudoir session. I feel like you're being pampered, you're being taken care of, and you're getting glamorous, and not that you're like struggling with your own hair iron to like do your thing, and someone's got you. Did you
feel like when you saw the pictures afterwards that you were yourself?
Yes and no. Because I automatically, the thought I had after was like, I have to have another one. Because
that's most people's reaction.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I see why people do 2 or 3, because it's a little bit of a shock to the system, because it's not something that you do every day, and you're
not looking at yourself like that.
You're not looking at yourself, and there's a lot of other things involved, like, who am I going to show these pictures to? Are they for me? Are they for my partner? Are they for me to be able to express some experience I just went through? Or, who is this for? What is this for? And to kind of get in the moment and like feel relaxed and comfortable and like the result, and all of those things going through your head. And then it's over, and you're like, I hope I did well. I hope I'm okay.
You did amazing.
I was happy with the results. But I was like, I need to have another one. And next time I'll be more relaxed. And I'll be more like with myself, and just like kind of let go more. And
it's a process.
It's a process. So definitely,
Cool. Wow, I feel like we covered so many amazing, wonderful things. Is there anything that you want women to know about makeup, or maybe someone who's like hesitant about makeup?
Well, I know a lot of women approach me and they say, I want to do makeup, but I don't know how, and they're kind of scared, and they don't know how to approach it, or the industry is very, very overwhelming. And especially with the aggressive marketing we have now, it's in your face everywhere. It's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, it's everywhere. And it's overwhelming. Even for me as a makeup artist too, I can kind of filter out what I want and what I don't want, and what I see
what's like healthy, what's like a little toxic for you,
what's extremely photoshopped and what's not. I can maybe tell those differences. Even for me, it's overwhelming. So first of all, to women who want a kind of approach makeup but don't know where to start, I suggest seeing someone professional that they can relate to. Like, look on social media and find someone they find they can relate to their work style or their personality, and set up a meeting. Most makeup artists I know have like one-on-one sessions where they kind of help with the initial process of doing your own makeup, and like filter out what to do and what not to do, just to give yourself a little routine. And not to be afraid, just to find a professional to help you and get started. And if it's something that you think you can relate to, or you would like to learn how to use, then reach out to someone, and just don't be afraid, and practice. it's not something you can learn in a day. It's something that definitely requires a little bit of practice.
Right.
And
it's not something that's permanent, so you can play around with it.
You could play around with it, and it's not something you have to do every day, and it's something that you can do on days, and maybe it'll make you feel amazing. Maybe you'll see that you don't connect to it, but definitely try. I know for myself that like I love my 5 minutes in the morning, not only like the result of how I look, I just love the fact that I take those 5 minutes in the morning to put myself out there and present myself and
pay attention to
yourself.
Pay attention
to myself, and I will always make sure that I have those 5 minutes before I walk out the door. Otherwise, I won't have a good day. Like, I need that.
You should do a 5-minute morning routine video. I want to see that. I want that.
No problem. Yeah,
I'm requesting it.
Once you have your routine, it could really take 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and it just makes me feel good. It just makes me feel good in the morning. Again, like exercise, like a 5-minute exercise or a 10-minute walk would, or a meditation
or whatever.
A yoga session, a podcast, like
coffee,
whatever it is that makes you, that gets you going in the morning. That makeup does that for me, and I'm fully aware that doesn't do it for everyone. It literally
wakes me up.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I could wake up like, dead, and I know that after I do my makeup, maybe I won't feel 100%, but I'll at least be at 80%. And it's amazing. So I highly recommend finding that routine that makes you feel good. And it's about you. It's about what makes you feel good.
Such an incredible message.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. I can go on for hours.
I want to hang out with you forever. So much fun to talk to you.
You too.
Thanks so much.
My pleasure.
Thanks so much for tuning in. If you want to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe below. And please follow Shoshie. She's amazing. She puts out incredible content and beautiful images.
Thank you.
And I'll put the link below as well. Have a wonderful day. Bye.